to look at security as the business of all of us.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The Ministry of Works and Housing has the responsibility to help improve the quality and the quantity of the road infrastructure assets, which are the roads and the bridges and the highways. At the moment, we have over 13,000 kilometers of road network under repair, reconstruction, or rehabilitation out of the existing 35,000 kilometers of federal road network. These 13,000 kilometers are comprised in about 850 different contracts which the ministry superintends across Nigeria. We are fulfilling the mandate of our ministry to expand the connectivity of Nigeria's states and by extension the towns and villages through road transport.
COVID-19, that is the black swan of the century, has actually hit the whole world very hard, even the strongest of economies, and Nigeria was not spared. But due to the proactive stance and steps that the President has taken, we've been able to come out quickly. The President has consistently said we must invest in infrastructure. Even as we're investing in human capital, that we must invest in infrastructure, because at the end of the day, that is what will bring about a sustainable economic growth. So the President has given us our directive. He has said you must make sure you pay salaries and pay pensions, but you also make sure that the critical projects of roads, railway, airports, bridges, major infrastructure that are meant to drive the growth of the economy, that we consistently invest in them, even if we have to continue to borrow to do so.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
The housing solution we have developed is a multifaceted one. First, we have tried to lead a program to build what we think will be an acceptable and hopefully affordable housing type based on surveys we did in 2015-2016 and construction that started in 2017. And that's going on in 34 states as the National Housing Program.
This message is from the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Since coming into office in 2015, the Abuja administration
Hello, it's time again for Weekend File on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We are live in Abuja. Thanks for joining us. As the National Center for Disease Control, NCDC, is battling with COVID-19 pandemic, another dreaded disease, cholera, has resurfaced in many states of the Federation, bringing another national challenge to the people and government of Nigeria. The reality today is that health challenges have brought untold hardship to Nigerians. In June this year, cholera resurfaced, and in a short time, 22 out of 36 states in the Federation are currently battling with cholera outbreak. However, in a quick reaction, the NCDC has set up national cholera emergency operation centers to tackle the scourge. The reality on ground is that more funds and medical personnel are required to deal with these issues. Daily increase in number of disease cases coming from the affected states, including the Federal Capital Territory, do not give strong hope that there may be lifeline to put an end to this outbreak as quickly as possible. Already, the federal government is showing sufficient concern by asking state governments to carry out due diligence on the measures they are adopting and how to generally tackle the situation. It is expected that the liaison between the federal and state governments will go a long way to bring about total control of the outbreak with sufficient commitment. By the way, the cholera It's easy to stamp out cholera from the environment with effective leadership and strict adherence to safety measures. So tonight on Weekend File, we'll bring you situation reports from across the geopolitical zones as we focus on cholera outbreak and containment measures by the 3 tiers of government. Our guest tonight is Dr. Yahaya Dizu, Head of Risk Communications Division, National Center for Disease Control. I am Kenen Ima Abodike. Let's bring you the news first. Let's start with infrastructure, as all ongoing infrastructural projects across the country will be completed despite financial constraints. Minister of Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola gave the assurance in Taraba State, where he inspected Chanchangi Bridge constructed by the federal government. Adamu Haruna Adams reports.
Chanchangi Takum Bridge, though smaller when compared with other bridges constructed or being constructed in other locations, its socio-economic benefits cannot be trivialized, according to the Minister of Works and Housing.
An emergency intervention, really, but its impact is really gargantuan. On one side of it is Benue, on the other side is Taraba, and this is the link that takes you also to the northern part of the country, Bauchi, all the way to Kaduna, Kano, and so on and so forth. So it's a very strategic connection.
The minister maintains that determination of the President Buhari-led government to improvement of quality of infrastructure in the country is an indisputable fact.
Over 800 contracts, over 13,000 kilometers of roads and bridges at the same time by one administration, and the money is just not enough. So
some stakeholders of the benefiting communities expressed gratitude for the project and other ongoing projects in some parts of Taraba State.
We have seen what Mr. President has done. That is kudos to him.
The Chanchangi Bridge is a completed project. What is left to be fixed is the approaching road, and the minister says will be addressed. In Jalingo, Adamu Haruna Adams, NTA News.
The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development has commenced data capturing for primary 1 to 3 pupils in Kogi State to ascertain the level of compliance with the National Homegrown School Feeding Program initiated by the federal government. Francis Udojo reports.
The monitoring program of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs is targeted at taking stock of local government areas and the states where the federal government initiative has taken off successfully, with particular attention to the improvement in schools enrollment and attendance. Kogi State, with its peculiar challenge of floods, erosion and other environmental factors, had resulted to an increased number of out-of-school children, a trend which the National Homegrown School Feeding Program aims to address by encouraging more enrollment of school children.
I'm happy because government is giving us food to eat. I'll be coming to school every day.
Ever since I graduated, there's been no job, so it's going a long way positively because I've been making some income from this.
Though the federal government's program is already yielding results with an increased enrollment of over 258,000 pupils, which is now twice the number at its pilot stage. Efforts are ongoing to increase the numbers of caterers.
The federal government said they are feeding over 10 million pupils in the country. This is one of the evidence.
Initially, we were feeding just 18 local government, which is pilot stage. Today, we have got across to 21 local government.
With the level of progress made so far, it is expected that more enrollments of pupils will be achieved while creating more avenues for jobs in the state. In Lokoja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Let's go to security matters now, as Borno State Governor Babagana Umar Zulum on Saturday in Abuja, local government area of the state, received another Chibok girl who presented herself to the Nigerian army. A statement from the senior special assistant to the governor, Issa Guzo, says the schoolgirl, Hassana Adamu, alongside her 2 children, were handed over to the governor by the commander 26 Task Force Brigade Brigadier General Dr. Dantani. Governor Zulum was in Goza local government, from where he moved to Bama local government, undertaking humanitarian activities. Hassana was one of over 200 schoolgirls abducted at a government secondary school in Chibok on April 14, 2014 by Boko Haram insurgents. The Imo State Police Command has lost 2 officers in an attack on Izombe Police Station in Oguta local government area of the state. A statement by the Police Public Relations Officer Michael Abatam says the armed bandits suspected to be members of the proscribed IPOB and the Eastern Security Network terror groups came in their numbers on Friday, August 13, 2021 to attack the police station. They, however, met with stiff resistance from the command's tactical teams and personnel of Operation Restore Peace, who engaged them in a gun battle, leaving 3 of the suspects neutralized, while 2 police officers lost their lives. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the appointment of Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf as the acting Chief Judge of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory on the recommendation of the National Judicial Council. The appointment takes effect from August 1, 2021. Justice Hussaini Baba Yusuf will be sworn in by the Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the National Judicial Council, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad, on Monday, August 16, 2021 by 10 a.m. at the Supreme Court of Nigeria. The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has dismissed the 2 applications seeking the review of the judgments of the Appellate Court in Calabar on the Cross River North senatorial election. On the application brought by Joe Agui and All Progressives Congress, the court held that it has no jurisdiction to review its decision in the circumstances. President of the court, Justice Monica Donwan Mensem, who stated this while leading a 5-man panel of justices in Abuja, also held that the applicants had not shown any slip for the court to amend its judgment. The court also took the same position on second application brought by Stephen Ode, urging it to set aside its earlier decision which allowed Agom Jaribe's appeal and declared him as the winner of the said election, pointing out that it has already been decided upon. It described the 2 applications as an abuse of court processes and awarded the costs in favor of the respondents. President of Zambia, Edgar Lungu, says his party, the Patriotic Front, is consulting on the next course of action concerning the general election held on Thursday, 12 August 2021. The president says the general election in South, North and the Western provinces were characterized by violence, rendering the whole exercise a nullity. The president said Patriotic Front polling agents were brutalized and chased from polling stations, a situation that left the ruling party's vote unprotected in the 3 provinces. The president also cites the killing of Patriotic Front Northwestern Province Chairman Jackson Kungo during voting and Mr. Samuel Chihili shortly before the voting as criminal acts that rendered the general election not free and fair. Now, with renewed commitment to achieve foreign policy objectives, Nigerian mission in Moscow is engaging diplomats to improve their capacity to match with current global realities. It is in this regard that Nigeria's embassy in Russia organized a retreat for the implementation of 5-year strategic plan to enhance development and better performance of the embassy officials. Professor Abdullahi Sheikh was recently posted as Nigerian envoy in the Russian Federation with concurrent accreditation to Belarus. You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Let's quickly go on a break. When we return, more reports on our topic of the day.
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
What is this?
The Cadbury goodness is in every pack of Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, making you feel cheerful and pleasant.
Now available in 30 grams and 450 grams.
Finally, the hero of Nigeria's democracy has arrived. He shall usher us into a new phase of development, peace, and prosperity. He is the father of the new Nigeria, His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR. Welcome to another season of giving Nigerians hope yet again. We are sure of a great future for both ourselves and generations yet unborn. We look forward to your leading us as a nation into our manifest destiny. Though the challenges against us as a people are many, we know that your leadership shall set us on the right path to our greatness. A new dawn beckons on us all, and having you as our president is a precursor to this. Thank you for believing in Nigeria. This message is from the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. That's why I give him Born Vita for everyday vitality that gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sports like Emirates FA Cup, La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
Thank you for staying with us on Weekend File. Fighting COVID-19 on one hand, a cholera is throwing up challenge on the other. A stark reality is staring Nigeria on the face. The Federal Capital Territory has recorded about 1,200 suspected cases and 73 deaths. The FCT administration and health authorities are sparing no effort in curtailing the disturbing trend in the territory. Ayana J. Auta reports on the efforts.
A diarrhea infection that can kill within hours if not promptly treated is endemic in Nigeria, with outbreaks reported as far back as 1970s. According to health experts, cholera is associated with unhealthy environment, open defecation and lack of clean water.
Cholera is something that we all know, definitely, through bad water and then maybe not proper environment and all of that. Definitely you're going to get that.
Hygiene is very important. To take care of the environment, clean every area and make sure that the environment is decent.
In the Federal Capital Territory, statistics by health authorities say suspected cases were first recorded in May 2021, and now cases have been reported in the 6 area councils, bringing a total of suspected cases to about 1,200 with 73 deaths so far.
Cumulatively to date, from that May to precisely 10th of August, we've gone to a level of 1,170 cases, and it has spread across all the 6 area councils. Precisely out of the 62 political wards of the area of the 6th FCT, we have about 39 of these wards that are already reported at least a case of cholera. Out of this number, we have about 73.
Dr. Sadiq Abdurrahman of the FCT Public Health Department further reveals that the FCT administration, in collaboration with other health partners, are leaving no stone unturned in their efforts towards checking the spread of this deadly disease. This, he says, is done through ensuring the availability of potable water and campaigns on the need to uphold personal and environmental hygiene. With all hands on deck to contain the spread of cholera, residents are advised to cooperate with the government through imbibing hygiene standards to succeed in the fight against cholera. Ayana J. Outa, NTA News.
In Bauchi State, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency is responding to the outbreak of cholera that claimed some lives. Bulak Afsa reports that the agency is embarking on massive vaccination exercise in parts of the state.
Bauchi State is one out of the states fighting cholera in the country for months now, with 19 local governments out of the 20 local government areas recording new infections. As part of efforts to contain the outbreak, World Health Organization provided 1.5 million oral cholera vaccines. Chairman, State Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Ridwan Mohammed, remarks that the first dose was administered 3 weeks ago, and the second dose will commence on 23rd of August 2021.
All the 19 local governments are reporting cases of cholera and death, and only one local government, which is Pogoro, and rapid response team is always working.
Commenting on the vaccine acceptability, he said, the vaccines has gained acceptance as people are even asking for it. He added that the state has continued to carry out rapid response through community engagement, and there has been reduction in number of people coming down with the infection in areas where people were vaccinated, because according to him, the first dose gives 6 months protection and the second dose 3 years. He, however, reminded residents of personal and environmental hygiene. In Bauchi, Bulak Afsa, NTA News.
In the meantime, the two neighboring states of Kano and Jigawa are taking drastic measures to control further spread of the cholera epidemic that has claimed more than 340 lives in the state. Hawa Haliru Haruna gives us situation report.
From Jigawa State Ministry of Health confirms the death of more than 120 people as a result of the cholera outbreak. With more than 5,000 cases reported in 19 out of the 27 local government areas, people are apprehensive of more casualties. The state government, however, says measures such as vaccination and environmental sanitation are being intensified to curtail its spread.
We used to get about 10 to 15 patients in a day. But moreover, now the thing was reduced. We used to get 5 to 6 patients in a day.
Government has organized training for all the rapid response teams in all the 27 LGS, and also all the Jekadulapia, all the health ambassadors across the 12,000 communities. They were trained on identification of signs and symptoms of cholera, on what to do and where to go, so that they have access to information.
And from Kano, Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that apart from procurement of vaccines, sensitization campaign on measures against the infection has been taken to marketplaces and motor parks. The state suffered more than 200 deaths out of the over 6,000 patients admitted in hospitals, many of whom have been treated and discharged.
We are also able to strengthen our surveillance system across all the local government areas so that cases will be detected as early as possible, and then the information is transmitted as early as possible.
Health experts believe that the outbreak in the two states may not be unconnected with the poor sanitary condition of some residents. Hawa Haller Haruna, NTA News.
Dr. Yahya Disul, Head of Risk Communications Division, Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, joins us tonight as we ponder over cholera outbreak and containment measures by the 3 tiers of government. You're welcome, Dr. Disu.
Thank you for having me. Good evening.
I want to believe that the question on the lips of every Nigerian at this point in time will be, why cholera now when all of us naturally believe it ought to have been, it ought to be a forgotten narrative? Where is cholera coming back from?
Well, I'm not too surprised because this is a symptom of underdevelopment. The basic infrastructures that we require are not there. Access to potable water as well as good sanitation facilities. They are not there because the way cholera is spread, it is caused by an organism called cholera vibrio, and it is transmitted through ingestion of contaminated water or food initially, then from person to person, because when somebody is stooling and vomiting, you are emitting the bacteria into your environment, so surfaces are contaminated. So, but in a situation whereby we have good access to potable water, so that the water you drink is not contaminated, water for cooking and so on, then the risk of getting it will be very, very low. And also, if you have good sanitation facilities, in many of our states, people still practice open defecation, and in this modern era. So it just reminds us that we need whole of society approach, starting from our policymakers at all level of government. If you look at primary health care, one of the principal or components of primary health care is water and sanitation, and that is what local government should even deal with. Do they have capacity to do that? Do they have environmental health officers to go to ensure that the water people are drinking is clean and people comply with the sanitation law? Well, if you, some of those local governments, you don't even have enough environmental health officers. You have medical officers of health or primary care coordinators who are supposed to be empowered to supervise all these activities and to educate the people on what they need to do. So because of the collapse of primary care system, no funding poor funding of primary care system, that is where we are today. So I think it's time we start thinking about seeing health as investment, not as cost. But we still see health spending as cost, not investment. Because when you see it as investment, then definitely we anticipate return on investment. So statistics have shown that for every $1 that you spend on health, you can get $7 as a return. So if we begin to look at this, and then even the private sector, so everybody needs to come together to see how we can resolve this problem. COVID-19 has proven that to the whole world. Our health is wealth. So if we continue to think COVID-19 is only the problem that we have, cholera has claimed more lives in this country this year than COVID-19. So it's a question we need to ask all Nigerians, policymakers, the people. The people themselves should know what they need to ask the government when they want to go for election, when they are canvassing for votes. Can you give us water? Can you give us good sanitation facilities, and then health facilities where they will be educated, where they can have access to better health system? These are basic things we need to ask our politicians when they are canvassing for election. How much are you going to invest in health? So these are major things.
Dr. Disu, it sounded like an emergency already, because if it has to do with some of this infrastructure that you are saying are not there at the moment, it will take quite a while to provide them. Meanwhile, the scourge or the epidemic is still raging. What do we do?
Now, why I have to say that first is, this is something that we could have avoided. Responding to cholera is a distraction, because the resources we should have used to deal with other priority diseases, we will be dealing with cholera, which means, let me even put it this way, all the gains we have reported or recorded in other areas, we can lose everything. Those people you have saved from COVID-19, we are now losing them to cholera, something that is preventable. So we have no choice now, but we have to respond. Nigeria Center for Disease Control and stakeholders, MDAs, relevant MDAs, Ministry of Water Resources, Ministry of Environment, they have activated the National Emergency Operations Center. We have rapid response team deployed to states that have cholera, and then we have over 20 states now in the country that are battling with cholera. And then the important thing now is we need to let people know what they need to do, the actions they need to take, and to safeguard their lives. First is they need to boil their water, make sure that they boil the water very well, and then they also ensure that they cook their food very well, and then personal hygiene, they wash their hands regularly, and then situation whereby the only source of water they have is maybe the well or so, they should chlorinate the water. Putting alum and those things can also save them. But for the health facilities, if they are sick, if they have somebody who is stooling and vomiting, they should make sure that they take oral rehydration solution, salt sugar solution, because what kills people fast in cholera is the dehydration that occurs. And as they are going to the hospital, they make sure that they start taking that. At least that can protect them before they get to health facilities. Open defecation is something that we need to talk to ourselves. Community themselves need to organize themselves. It's not only government that can do this. Because there are instances where some communities in the past few years, where UNICEF, some other organizations have gone to sink borehole, they even provide toilet facilities. Well, people abandon those facilities and they still go to practice open defecation. They said this is what they inherited from their forefathers, different reasons that people give. So we as society, we need to come to the round table, look at what cholera is doing for us. It's not just cholera, there are other diseases too that we suffer from because of our poor hygiene, either at the environment level or personal level.
By the way, a lot of people might see the whole issue as strange because, like I said earlier on, it's supposed to be something we ought to have forgotten about. So let's take it naturally now. When an individual, breaks down with cholera, let's start from there. What are the natural symptoms, that you could look at and say, wow, there could be a problem somewhere?
Okay. Major symptom you see is stooling and vomiting. And the stooling will be very profuse, very fast, and then very frequent. And then, so when
like
you
diarrhea.
see that, it's diarrhea, yes, that's right. Watery stools, you pass watery stools very frequently. And then sometimes it comes with vomiting. And then sometimes you can have fever and those general body weakness. Of course, when you have lost a significant amount of body water, then you become weak. Some might even go unconscious, and in hours, people can die. So that's why they need to quickly seek healthcare and then start taking this oral rehydration solution, salt sugar solution. Our mothers know how to prepare that because they do that for the children. And then I think that's what we just need to understand. But we need to go to health facility because we have facilities to take care of that. Then we need to also create awareness in the community about this, because once you have human-to-human transmission, it continues to spread. So they still do contact tracing and all those public health measures to ensure that they identify people who may be at risk and then to put preventive measures in place. At the same time, vaccination, where the whole system is overwhelmed, just like what we are having in Bauchi. So those are measures that we are just put in place to ensure that we save lives and then continue the system.
All right. We'll talk some more, but that will be after the break. Of course, you're watching Weekend File on the NTA network service. Do stay with us as we go on this break.
He's not my real father. But you already know this, Lara darling. Yes. But after 25 years, she just told me who my real father is.
Now, why is it in the car?
Introducing Glow U2 plans. Feast your eyes from as low as 50 naira for 1 hour. Simply dial *777#.
This na the story of Pekin, wey rise to the max. Rain or shine, it not settle for less. Now the story of small boy we get big talent. Home and away. Wait do, it be like say na the story of one man way fall, but we bounce back in style.
Osime, wetin dey motivate you? I want day big, special and great. watching us live from Big Brother House Studio.
Joy for Osim and his teammates at Chuck as well.
Make we enjoy Max Entertainment together.
Sports or movies, telenovela or cartoon, music or reality TV. With just 6,900 naira, you fit get your Go TV decoder plus 1 month Max subscription. Make you they enjoy over 75 channels with for Go TV Max. Make you and your special ones they enjoy better things on Max levels. Go TV, love it.
On the wings of democracy comes conflicting issues in party politics. That's our focus on NTA Tuesday Live next week. Tuesday Live, every week at 10:30 p.m. Promises to be educative and incisive. Join us.
Welcome back. About 70,000 doses of cholera vaccines have been administered in 48 communities affected by cholera outbreak in Bayelsa State. These, among other measures, have helped flatten the curve of the epidemic, which was recorded in 30 communities in the state. Ebenimi Zetimiola has the situation report.
Over 250 cases were recorded as at the first week of June 2021 in almost all 8 local government areas, except Brast, which was little affected. As part of efforts to contain the spread, the Bayelsa State government, in collaboration with the World Health Organization and other partners like the NDDC, established response teams in all the 8 local government areas to ensure active surveillance and management of the disease outbreak. 70,000 oral cholera vaccine were administered in 48 communities. In addition, aggressive enlightenment campaigns on the crucial need for individuals to practice safe sanitation to protect public health were carried out. Community and individual participation ensured provision of logistics to get to hard-to-reach communities. Accommodation and medical supplies were also provided. The need for government to provide safe water and individuals to take responsibility to ensure good environmental and personal hygiene practices is stressed.
We are fear-driven as a people. We are not science-based, factual-based people who would say, okay, of a truth, if we wash our hands, we are going to reduce the spread of communicable diseases.
I think the best thing to do is to practice hygiene, personal hygiene, especially in a place where without potable water, people depend on borehole. Those in the rural communities, they depend on the river.
Bayelsa State has keyed into the National Safe Sanitation Campaign to protect public health. Eniyanagwa, Ebinimi Zitimiola, NTA News.
17 out of 25 local government areas in Niger State have been affected by the cholera disease, with 45 deaths so far recorded within 3 months. Fatima Usman in this report examines efforts by the state government to mitigate the spread of the disease through the use of multi-sectoral collaborative initiative, water and basic sanitation measures to end the epidemic.
Acknowledgement of definitive causative agents, mechanisms of its spread, risk factors, and seasonal tendency, cholera outbreak has been an endemic in Nigeria. The acute diarrhea disease that kills within hours if left untreated is associated with poor hygiene and sanitation, most especially during disaster and war. Little wonder that since Niger State recorded its first case 3 months ago, 1,370 cases have been recorded, with 17 local government areas bedeviled by security challenges being the worst hit.
Presently, 10 local governments are still having active disease, 7 are quiet. We already have some idea on the pattern of the disease. When do they occur? When it's at the beginning of the rainy season and at the end of the rainy season. And we have a real-time dashboard at our center called Emergency Operations Center. So whatever is happening in all the local corners of Niger State is shown in our dashboard at the Emergency Operations Center.
We are ensuring compliance to see that every household have toilet facilities. And throughout the state, we link up with the Primary Care Development Agency, and then for them to direct their local government, Department of Primary Care, with the sectional heads of environmental health services, to ensure compliance at every level.
In Mina, Fatima Usman, NTA News.
The Enugu State Ministry of Health, through its rapid response team, is working hard to stop further spread of cholera, which has claimed more than 19 lives and infected over 80 persons. Mena Okobase reports that other health partners in the state are not relenting in expanding their health frontiers to curb the spread.
News of cholera outbreak in Enugu State on the 16th of July 2021, which infected more than 80 and claimed the lives of over 19 people, has put the state's Ministry of Health and its partners on their toes, attributing the cause majorly to poor hygiene practices and improper disposal of domestic and human waste, including high consumption of untreated water at the popular new artisan livestock market. Health experts say efforts are in top gear to achieve containment.
We're expanding capacity in those centers, getting more health workers to work there, and also providing the necessary infusions.
Already, 3 new emergency treatment centers have been established in the state to contain number of infected victims, while training of health workers has been activated to acquaint them of safety guidelines, which are also pasted strategically at the affected market to educate traders.
Some disease enter our market and the people, we are making business with them, and some people run, go out.
Though the federal government has activated the National Cholera Emergency Operations Center and rapid response teams deployed to support affected states, Enugu State is yet to receive the team as well as take delivery of the oral cholera vaccine.
While we are doing this, we had alerted the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and requested for oral drug for cholera for the state, which they have acknowledged and they are working towards that.
Given all the machineries already put in place by the State Ministry of Health and its allies, it is expected that with the arrival of the oral cholera vaccine and the rapid response team already deployed by the federal government, cholera will be contained in the state. In Enugu, Mina Adobu-Kobasi, NTA News.
And still in southeast Nigeria, 65 cholera cases have been confirmed in Ebonyi State. The Commissioner for Health, Daniel Omezurike, who revealed this while explaining efforts by the state government in containing the spread of the disease in parts of the state, also noted that no death has been recorded. Kanayo Okoro reports.
Campaign against open defecation, the need for good personal hygiene and hand washing with running water are among the message Ebonyi State government is taking to all the nooks and crannies of the state towards the containment of the outbreak of cholera in the state.
We have recorded 65 confirmed cases, in 2 communities of Mbaluku ward of Izi local government area. We have discharged quite a good number of them. Only 11 patients were still in the ward. No death was recorded.
Dr. Umezdike further appealed for more cholera vaccine from the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, as the state has already exhausted its stock in the treatment of patients.
This facility is ready at any time to contain the spread of cholera.
Mostly as we are having a cholera. Personally, I don't joke with it.
Come for this vaccination to prevent my child for communicable diseases.
Though the state has not recorded any death from the disease, effort is being intensified to continue vaccination against the disease. In Abakaliki, Kana Yokoro, NTA News.
Of course, we still have Dr. Yahya Disu, Head of Risk Communications Division, Nigerian Center for Disease Control. It appears the cases of cholera outbreak in the country quite relative. In some states, like some of the reports have just shown us, in some states it is almost an epidemic. In some states it's not been felt so badly, while for instance in Enugu and then of course Ebonyi State, we didn't hear of cases of any death. But then we also discovered that the vaccines that we are talking about have not arrived in some states, and we're talking about an emergency here.
Let me start with the last one you said concerning the vaccines. vaccines should be the last resort. In a situation where we are failed in prevention, no matter what resources we have, we will always be overwhelmed. So this is a lesson for us that we need to do the needful. We don't even manufacture the vaccines in Nigeria. And then MPCDA with NCDC through data they analyze will have to request for this vaccine or procure it from outside Nigeria. So even what we have to manage it very carefully. So what is important is still those infrastructures. Well, I'm sure MPCDA is on top of this, and they will definitely deliver the vaccines to where they really need it. But I want to say something. It is going to get worse because of climate change. You can see flooding everywhere. Flooding will always, the climate change will bring out this problem for us to see. These things are hidden before. When we fail to manage our waste properly, we practice open defecation. During rainy season, when you have excessive water, excessive rain, and you have flooding everywhere, then the refuse dump or sites, flood water will carry germs from there to contaminate water we drink or food items. Even our farms, vegetables will be contaminated. So, which means that people they are at higher risk. So, what we need to do now is, because we don't have control over climate change, because it's a global action, but what we can do to ensure that we also make sure that we clear our drains, we don't block our drains, to minimize the impact of flooding. So, good sanitation, good access to potable water. I will continue to reiterate this. This is the only way we can prevent this. But for the meantime, we just continue to respond, because it's unfortunate that some lives have been affected, and we don't want more lives to be affected.
So to what extent those NCDC go in maybe, aligning with concerned authorities at, should I say, the hinterland or the rural areas where, of course, we may have this epidemic region? To what extent, does the center go in seeing that there is synergy to curtail the spread?
Okay, the number of things NCDC is doing. First is to set up that multi-sectoral, multi-partner emergency operations center that brings in the relevant MDAs and partners, WASH, that is water and sanitation, and then as well as the Ministry of Environment, UNICEF, and every other relevant stakeholder that need to play a role here. And then that is ongoing, and they look at data, surveillance data coming from states to inform decision, policy, and advise the states, and then deployment of rapid response team, and also with materials to support response in the state. We work closely with MPACDA in identifying the areas where they really need these vaccines, and to ensure that they plan the vaccination campaign. Risk communication is another thing we do. When we deploy team, we also have a member of the team who is a risk communication officer who work with the state to ensure that people are adequately sensitized. And then now, healthcare workers are also trained from time to time on what measures they need to take to protect themselves, infection prevention and control, because they are also at risk of getting this disease from parents. And once we start losing our healthcare workers, it's a loss to the nation. So we also make sure that IPC, infection prevention and control, is enforced in those facilities, and then support the states with necessary materials they may need in terms of drugs and response materials. Then more importantly, data we collect through our electronic system, we call it SOMAS, and then that enables us to respond real time and to prioritize allocation of resources and inform policy to control the epidemic.
All right, let's ask you about the National Cholera Emergency Operations Centers. You say they are in existence right now.
Yes.
Where and where? In all the states?
No, we have at the national and at the state level too. They also set up their own either technical working group or emergency operations center to respond to cholera. So it's always like that for every disease. Once we have a disease outbreak, we have criteria that will determine when do we activate this. Most of the time, they are level of technical working group. We've always had technical working group all year round, meeting, looking at data, understanding where cases are coming up and advising the state. And we also work in conjunction with the NIMET and the Nigerian Hydrological Agency to give us data that will inform where we're likely to have flooding. Earlier this year, they gave data that over 30 states will experience flooding, and we share this information to prepare the states that during rainy season this is going to happen, and if it happens, definitely we expect that cholera may also happen, as in we may have cholera outbreak. So it's not that we don't know this will not come. So we know this will come, but we've been talking. But I think we need to have a rethink, and we need to go back to drawing board. Nigerians themselves need to ask the right questions, and then public will is very, very important to ensure that political will aligns with what should be the priorities for the nation.
Thank you for coming on Weekend File, Dr. Disu.
Thank you for
Wish you
having
good
me.
luck.
Thank you for having me.
We've been discussing with Dr. Yahya Disu, Head of Risk Communications Division, Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Of course, we'll be looking at cholera outbreak and containment measures by the 3 tiers of government in Nigeria. You're still watching Weekend File on the NTA. Time now for our last break.
This present government has done a lot on the train modernization. They came in and completed the Abuja Kaduna, and we have 9 stations there, 5 stopping stations and 4 crossing stations, making 9. And when we started in 2016, we started with 2 trips, then we later moved on to 8 trips. And we are talking about moving to 14 trips a day. And we have been able to send 10 DMUs, 10 coaches, and 2 locomotives new. We have 12 stations on the Takbere line. It's about 312 kilometer length of track, and it's over 35 years old. And the government came and took it up, finished the track, built modern stationing, and the stations are finished. Working on the signaling. We all hope to start the commercial operation by the end of September.
Bade Adeleye is standing by to bring us sports update.
Many thanks, Kene. Welcome to Sports Update. Nigerian clubs in CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup have been told to avoid past mistakes of inadequate preparations and poor logistics if they desire to go far in the continental competitions. This was the submission of guest on 90 Sports World with me earlier this evening. They also urged Kwara United to accept NFF's ruling, which ended their continental football hopes.
For next season and see if they can able to qualify for the continent.
We need to really prepare well. We've talked about preparing well. You know, even our logistics, you know, how they are going to go there. These are things we need to put in. We don't want to hear of issue, you know, traveling on the day of the match like Ayimba did. Let them, why not? Get them a chartered flight. Let them go there 2-3 days. Let them relax there, play a good match and come back.
Moving on, Nigeria's Emmanuel Dennis scored on his Premier League debut for Watford as the Hornets beat Aston Villa 3-2 in the Premier League. At Old Trafford, Bruno Fernandes got a hat-trick while Paul Pogba made 4 assists as Manchester United got their Premier League campaign to a flying start with a comfortable 5-1 win against Leeds United. Chelsea also made the light work of Crystal Palace with a 3-0 victory, while Liverpool beat Norwich City 3-0. Let's move to Spain now. Real Mallorca began their La Liga campaign with a hard-fought 1-0 home draw against Real Betis. In the match, which was live on NTA, Brian Olivan and Juan Miguel were the goal scorers. In the other game, Cadiz scored in the 7th minute of added time as they settled for a 1-0 draw at home to Levante. It's half-time in the match between Alaves and Real Madrid, where the scores still goalless. And finally, back home, All-Stars International and Yaya All-Stars will face off in the final of the Abuja All-Stars Invitational Football Tournament after their semi-final victories on Saturday. All-Stars International beat Capital Sportive 4-1 in the first semi-final, with Yaya All-Stars recording a 2-0 victory over CKSA in the second semi-final. Well, beautiful to see that the tournament is for veterans. And that does it on sports. It's back to Kenny.
Well, just in now, the presidency condemns the attack earlier today on travelers from a religious event in Bauchi passing through Jos, the Plateau State capital, and regrets the reported deaths of at least 22 persons killed with several others injured in that ambush on their traveling party. It is widely known that Plateau State has been one of the states affected by herder-farmer clashes, which have in a significant way been curtailed following the intense peace-building efforts of the administration of Governor Lalong. However, to be clear, this is not an agriculturalist pastoralist confrontation, but rather a direct, brazen and wickedly motivated attack on members of a community exercising their right to travel freely and to follow the faith of their choosing. The statement, however, noted that it is also noted that with the evident preparedness of their attackers, it is clear that it was a well-conceived and pre-arranged assault on a known target, not an opportunist ambush. The presidency condoles with the families of the victims and says it will continue to liaise closely with the local authorities, including security, the police, and governmental agencies. The former General Overseer of the Foursquare Gospel Church, Nigeria, late Wilson Badejo, has been described as an exceptional man of God and promoter of the gospel who worked for the transformation of societies physically and spiritually. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo stated this in Lagos on Saturday when he paid a condolence visit to the family of late Badejo. State House correspondent Gideon Ifade reports.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says late Reverend Wilson Badejo was a man of integrity who served God with all his strength and truly a promoter of the gospel. While praying God to console and strengthen the deceased family, Vice President Osinbajo also prayed God to preserve the tremendous legacy left behind by the late man of God. Late Badejo was General Overseer of the Foursquare Gospel Church between 1999 and 2009. He died on Saturday, August 7th, 2021. Similarly, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described late Mohammed Fawemi as a progressive and protector of the poor and less privileged. During a condolence visit to the mother of the deceased, Ganiat, the Vice President notes that late Mohammed continually identified himself with the progressives and did not diminish what concerned his father during his lifetime.
He used his legal career in a way that demonstrated that he was concerned about those who could not either afford legal services or who could not speak up for them, who cannot speak up for themselves. So his passing is a very grave and, it's a very sad event for us all, and we're all, very deeply affected by it. And I thought I should come and, spend a minute or two with Mama and just, try and comfort her.
The Vice President prayed God to console the family of the late legal icon, Ganifa Wahimi, and to give them the fortitude to bear the loss. In Lagos, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
And the remains of Sagir Abubakar, retired staff of the Nigerian Television Authority, has been laid to rest. He died in Kaduna after a brief illness. Suleiman Abdullahi Rigachikun reports.
67. Late Abubakar Sagir was born in Malumfash town in Katsina State, a product of Government College Kaduna. The deceased joined the services of the Nigerian Television Authority in 1975 as a cameraman and retired in the 90s.
He was a man who lives a fulfilled life, very tolerant, accommodating, and mixed well with people.
Sagir Abubakar has been a wonderful person.
This is a personal loss to me. Not long ago, Baba Sagir, as we fondly call him, was with me at the NTA Kaduna Network Center.
We just pray that Almighty Allah will forgive his shortcomings
He's my role model. He's my dad. It's uncomparable.
The funeral prayer at his residence in Kao, Kaduna, was led by Sheikh Raj Muhammad. The remains of late Sagir were buried at Kao Cemetery amidst prayers by relations, friends, and colleagues for the repose of his soul. The deceased left behind 5 children and a wife. Suleiman Abdullahi Gachkun, NTA News.
May his soul rest in peace. And that's where we wrap it up on Weekend File this Saturday. Thank you indeed for watching. And don't forget to join the NTA in the fight against rape and the rapists. My name is Kenan Ima Abodike. Good night.
Security of this country is the paramount to any government. Prior to now, we are doing more of defensive activities to protect our bases and fight the war when we are challenged or when an objective is attacked. But right now, what we do is to carry the battle into areas where the banditries or the Boko Harams or whatever. The Nigerian army